When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Add excitement to your holidays with Ohio Lottery Holiday Scratch-Offs, including $1 holiday cash and $5 holiday lucky times 10, or holiday bonus millions with a 200 times multiplier and a $2 million top prize. Plus, enjoy second chance drawings where you can win 10 times, 100 times, or 1,000 times the price of your ticket. Scratch-Offs make the perfect gift, and best of all, there's no wrapping required. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC, your daily reminder that the Reds are top of the league. The Reds are also top of the Champions League. You'll have to excuse me today. I'm running on no sleep, so if I seem sluggish or my voice sounds weird, that's why. I am once again confounded by the stupidity of the human race. But not to worry, we do have many reasons to be cheerful as Liverpool fans. 14 wins out of 16 games under Arne Slot. A 4-0 victory over Bayer Leverkusen last night. And this second half performance is, I think, unquestionably the best we've seen Liverpool play in a number of years. Certainly the best we've seen under Arne Slot for a half of football. The first half was quite poor. Not just from ourselves. They weren't great either, but they did have the better of it. We looked a little bit lost in midfield. Curtis Jones was sort of the only one in there actually doing anything of note. Defensively, we looked fairly solid. The attack, though, looked disjointed. We started with Luis Diaz playing as the number 9, which nobody expected. When the team came out and we could see that it was Mo, Luis and Cody Gakpo as a front three, I think everybody just assumed it would be Cody Gakpo who'd start up front. But I did float the idea on Scouted to Carl of what about Lucho up front. The reasoning was his movement and his speed up against Jonathan Tah, I thought would be interesting. And Arne Slot came out after the game and said that's what he was thinking, rather than putting a centre forward up against him. Now, I do think he gave Jonathan Tah far too much credit for what he is as a defender. But he pointed out that, he does well against centre forward types. So the idea was to have someone that could drop off and move around him, add to the numbers in midfield, and try and link things a lot more. Truthfully, it didn't work for first half. It was interesting, but Diaz was playing a little bit too close to the defensive line and allowing Tah to get too close to him. There was one or two moments where he was involved in some nice build-up play, but it didn't really work first half. But in the second half, it worked really, really well. On 61 minutes, we go ahead. It's a gorgeous goal. It is a lovely Curtis Jones pass that splits the defence, has perfect weight on it. Diaz makes a great run, times it perfectly, and it's a very Bobby Firmino type of lift over the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. On 63, it's 2-0. And this is an absolute cracker of a goal. This, I think, is the best goal we've scored under Arne Slot. This is also, funnily enough, the most Jurgen Klopp goal that we've scored under Arne Slot. So, McAllister wins the ball in our area, gets fouled, stays up, plays it into the middle of the park. It gets worked to the right. Diaz and Mo are involved. Trent makes a brilliant run, doesn't get the ball, but it tracks defenders. Ball comes back to Mo. First time, I think it was first time, right-footed cross, because Hincapié is obviously not playing as a left-back. He's playing as a left-side centre-back. So Mo has a bit of separation from him. Probably the first time all night that Mo got any real separation from him. Hincapié did brilliantly against Mo. But this is a sensational cross. And Cody has timed his run perfectly. It's a bullet header. Gives the goalkeeper no chance. It is initially flagged for offside. And when we go to the replay, I was watching it on Amazon. Mark Clattenburg, who his nickname is Klats, and that's what he has as the personalized number plate on his vehicle, which will tell you the type of terrible set of lads that he is. He starts prattling on that it looks offside to him. And then the replays prove it's very clearly onside. And the goal is given. And from there, we had loads of control. And it became quite comfortable. Changes got made. They did have a couple of decent chances. Patrick Schick had a decent dig that Queven Keller saved well. And then there was a follow-up that Keller saved well as well. But at 83 minutes, Diaz makes it 3. It is an absolutely gorgeous goal again. Again, it's McAllister picking the ball up, driving through midfield, pushing that ball on to Mo. And it's that cross that we're seeing more and more from left-footed right wingers. That bending, dipping ball that just drops over that last defender and onto the feet of a forward. Diaz does brilliantly here. He uses his strength, holds off Jonas Hoffman, and finishes really well. I can't remember the exact minute, but there was a 5-on-4 that Darwin fucked up. And then on 92 minutes, we get a 4-on-2. Darwin has the ball, charging forward, decides, I'm not going to pass it. I'm going to go myself. Possibly because Robbo is one of the 4 up with him and he knows Robbo's not going to score. Mo is with him though, and so is Diaz, so he does have good options, but he decides to take on a shot. He slips as he shoots. Hincapié makes the block. It falls to Diaz. It's a nice first touch. And it's another Bobby Firmino-esque finish with a no-look. And it's 4-0. It's 4-0. This Bayer Leverkusen team last season went unbeaten in the league and won the German Cup as well for an unprecedented double for them. They'd never won the league before. They'd only won the cup once before. They went unbeaten. Across all competitions, they played 53 games and conceded 42 goals. The most they conceded in a league match was 2. The most they conceded in a cup match was 2. Now, they did concede 3 against Atalanta in the Europa League final, but they didn't concede 4 at all last season. In fact, the last time they conceded 4 goals in a game, and I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong about this, was the 15th of October, 2022. They conceded 5 in a game against Eintracht Frankfurt, which was the second game of Xabi Alonso's tenure, second league game of Xabi Alonso's tenure there. They lost 5-1 away to Eintracht. That's the last time they conceded 4 or more. They've conceded 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 times under Alonso. 4 times in his entire tenure. Plus the 5. So there's 5 games. 5 games under Xabi Alonso, who has now managed 106 games. They've conceded 3 or more 5 times. And most of them were in the season where he took over from Sione. It wasn't his team yet. He was still trying to fix it the way he wanted it. Like, they're not as good this season, obviously, as they were last season, and they have been shipping goals at a more concerning rate. They actually conceded 3 already this season, once I should point out. So that would be 6 times. It's irrelevant, really. They're not as good this season. They're not defending as well this season. But what we did to them, nobody else has done to them. Like in the other games where they're conceding 3, other than the Europa League final, where you could nearly write it off as they were just exhausted, given the amount of football they'd played all season, and the level of intensity to go through a league season unbeaten, and all the late comebacks they'd had and all of that. They just looked, if you watch that game, they looked completely spent. All of the times they've conceded 3, they've always scored or looked like they were going to be at least competitive in the game. And sure, in the first half yesterday, they looked like they'd be competitive. But ultimately, we completely nullified Victor Boniface. He had one decent chance with a header after Gravenberch lost him on a set piece. We completely nullified Florian Wirtz. And barring a chance he did put in the back of the net but was ruled out for an earlier handball, we completely nullified Frimpong. We also nullified Grimaldo. Like, that's their 4 big attacking threats. And they contributed little to nothing. Which speaks to how well we played. And I said it after we beat Brighton. The Liverpool haven't played anybody yet. Plough Show are starting to look really, really silly. 16 games, 14 wins, 1 draw, which is away to Arsenal, which is a good result, and just the 1 defeat, which is home to Forest, which is infuriating, but also they're 3rd in the league so far, and again, they won't finish there, but they're having a great start to the season. Like, as of right now, they've had a better league campaign than Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, obviously, because they're way down the table, Villa, Spurs. These are all teams that are much better than Forest. But based on what they've done so far this season, Forest have been better than them in the Premier League. So the further we go, and the further they go, the more that result doesn't look as bad as it felt at the time. And I thought last night, seeing the manager react preemptively to the opposition and then make in-game changes to react to what he was seeing in front of him was just so impressive. And then to hear him speak after the game and break down what his thought process was, like, This is a high-level individual. This is someone that understands the game at levels none of us, mere mortals, can grasp. He's seeing things in advance. He's not having to react. He's seeing weaknesses and he's seeing opportunity in the flow of the game. And yes, when he sees problems with what we're doing, he's reacting to that. But much more of what he does in-game is preemptive. Or it's proactive. It's spotting weaknesses or potential weaknesses and going at them. And I'm just blown away by how good we're doing under this guy. Like, let's be honest, he wasn't any of our first choice, but he's putting together this unbelievable start to the season. There's still so much football to be played, but the bottom line of it is, we're 10 games into the Premier League season. We have 25 points. We're top of the league. The attack is performing well. 19 goals, almost 2 a game. The defence is performing brilliantly. 6 conceded, 0.6 a game. When you're scoring 1.9 goals a game and conceding 0.6 goals per game, that's a fantastic recipe to win lots and lots of football matches. But then you extend that out over all competitions, and it's 37 goals scored, which is over 2 per game, and only 10 conceded, which is in and around the 0.6 per game mark. Might even be exactly 0.6. I think it is exactly 0.6 per game. Like, that is exactly where you want to be. We're going strong, despite my desires not to, in the EFL Cup. We play Southampton next. It's a game we should win while being able to rotate. And we're top of the Champions League. Now, Villa can still match us or top us if they win by 4-0. If they win 4-0, I think they're playing Club Brugge, Villa will go above us. I'm not really sure I see them doing that. But we're 4 games in. We've played only teams from the top 5 leagues. Now, admittedly, all flawed teams, but all, bar Leverkusen, who were flawless last year, but all top 5 league teams. And we've won all 4 of them, conceding 1 goal, which came 3 minutes into the Champions League campaign. And that was away to Milan. That was a game which at the time felt important. Afterwards, because Milan have not been particularly good, didn't feel as big. But then last night, Milan went and beat Real Madrid 3-1 at the Bernabeu. Now, due to my lack of sleep, I've watched that game this morning. And Madrid probably should have won the game. Like, they missed a whole host of decent chances. But ultimately, they didn't. Milan won 3-1. And with us playing Real Madrid next, and Real looking frazzled at the moment, like spanked, absolutely spanked by Barcelona, and then beaten last night, we've nothing to fear against them. Absolutely nothing. And then beyond that, Girona away, game we should win. Lille home, game we should win. And PSV away, game we should win. I think there's a real possibility we win all 8 games if we want to, and top this group, go through as the number 1 seed. Instead of that, I don't know whether they're gonna do seeding for the last 16. I assume not. We'll just get one of the teams that comes out of the play-in round. But again, like, it's so impressive. So impressive. Diaz and Mo both have 9 goals so far. Cody has 6. Jota has 4 and he's missed a bunch of games. Ibu, Darwin and Virgil each have 2. Dominic, Alexis and Curtis all have 1. 37 goals scored. Mo has 9 assists. Mo has 9 goals and 9 assists already this season. Like, you know how absolutely stupid that is? Like, it's ludicrous the season this fella's putting together. Again, Curtis Jones has 3 assists. I think that's flown under the radar. Dom has 2. Gakpo has 2. Jota has 2. Trent has 2. Diaz has 2. Nunez has 2. Kanate, Chiesa, Tsimikas, Tyler Morton, and Virgil all have 1. Like, we're spreading things out, both in terms of goals and assists. Yes, Mo leads the way, but he's Mo Salah. He's always going to lead the way. You can't knock a team when they've got an all-time great who's just being an all-time great and putting together the production he does. 9 goals and 9 assists in less than 1,300 minutes this season. Like, these are Messi numbers, PlayStation numbers. And like last night, Hincapié did really well against them, and Mo still had 2 great assists because he's an all-time great. Absolutely stupid football that we have been so fortunate to be able to watch for this long. And the same goes, obviously, for Virgil, another imperious performance last night. Ibu was great again beside him. The midfield stepped up well in the second half. Curtis was the standout midfielder. The forward line all came away with credit. It's such a positive thing. On This Is Anfield, there is the good, the bad, and the night Liverpool fans started to dream big. Arne Slot embracing the pressure. We want to compete for everything. Stop that. I still have PTSD from 21-22. Diaz's no-look goal, Alonso's touch, Ibu's sing-along, and 3 more things spotted. Alonso touched the This Is Anfield sign, which, given he won something, is right. Real Madrid fall further behind, lead us Liverpool with another defeat, visit Anfield next. Just been over that. Luis Diaz stars with 9.2 average rating versus Leverkusen. I think that's fair. I thought he was great last night. He was great in the second half. First half was a bit rough, but you know, goals will always overcome. Virgil van Dijk thinks Liverpool are still a work in progress. I mean, we are. How would we not be? How would we not be? We are 16 games into this manager's tenure. He is only scratching the surface of what he'll want this team to be. There's improvements that can be made tactically. There's improvements that can be made to personnel. There's certain players not playing at their best level that can all improve us. Like, this is all great stuff. It's a good piece there on Curtis and how he stepped up. Xabi Alonso admits he tried to prepare for Anfield atmosphere and says the players really feel it. One Leverkusen fan that I saw, and I think a lot of people saw this on social media last night, claiming that the reason Anfield is so loud is because they're piping the noise through the PA system. And his logic for this is that the stadium announcer speaks through a PA system. It is the most brainless, unthought out idea from a football fan talking about an atmosphere. Do you think there are speaker systems powerful enough? Like, you're just hearing raw noise and you think that's coming through a speaker system. You absolute don't. AnfieldIndex.com, there is a piece about a tactical analysis piece on how we outclass Leverkusen in the Champions League. There is another piece about the Leverkusen game. There is another piece about the Leverkusen game. There's a piece about Andy Robertson and the potential of a new contract. I really hope not. And then there's a piece about Mo and another report that suggests he might go to Saudi. Podcast-wise, if you haven't listened to the latest Under Pressure, make sure you do. There is Arne Slot's press conference from after the game last night. There's the David Lynch podcast. And there is Post-Match Raw, which is myself, Frev, and Harry. I will speak to you all tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll be able to open my eyes by then. I am so tired. It is absolutely beyond belief. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.